Shalom, Israel first and foremost, I do want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Bashmel, Shabbat Shemakash, the one to the apostles, and else great millstone for teaching us his truth, peace, and blessings to the hope of Israel. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father in Hebrew, Bashem is the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the Only God Son. Back in our lesson, it's to be another MOTB update. You have seen the infrastructure, the foundation that's being laid out, all in order to usher in and bring about this beast system, which is ultimately going to be ran through that Karagma, that MOTB, which is the RFID CHIP. As you're also seeing steps towards the mark on the forehead, seeing Elon Musk as well as other companies following in suit, creating similar things, where people are taking the Neuralink pretty much already, and things like that. But you see right here, going to be going to the article, because we all ultimately know what this, is leading up to it, or you should know by now what this is leading up to. Speaking of Revelation 13:16. Now, this is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s bold proposal of tracking devices for every American to combat cancer and chronic disease. And I believe I'm going to title the lesson, Great Deception, or many people will be deceived, something to that effect. Because you're going to have many people, be deceived, be tempted into pretty much lining up to take that Karagma, that MOTP. And you will have this, that will be forming these miracles on the left-hand side through this technology. That's why you're going to have people, heavily pushing it, promoting it. And why is devils going to be pushing it in the name of so-called safety, security? It's out, it's how it will benefit you pretty much. As you really see the steps that are being taken down with Amazon One and these other things, making your life a little so-called easier. And now people, are what's being pretty much conditioned. They're being prepared for the implementation of this MOTB. Going back to the Amazon One, we're able to pay just by the palm of your hand. You have many examples of there in China where you're able to buy and pay things just scanning your face. And you're seeing many self-checkouts being added within stores. You're seeing, I made a video also going into this where you had pretty much this door locked in this convenience store, needed to show your ID to be able to unlock it. So everything's moving towards a digitized system, moving towards that digital route. Especially a digitized currency, man, which is, once again, that's why we're going to get Revelation 13:16 going into that MOTB. How you won't be able to buy nor sell without it. And physics bound at this point. I don't want to install the intro too long, but that main point going to, many people are going to be deceived, tempted into taking it. Especially seeing these high risk surgeries people are not wanting to take, and seeing how much simpler and so-called easier and beneficial it is to take that Karagma. People are going to be lining up. And you know how Jake is when it comes to the next big thing. You see how Jake is when it comes to the shoes, clothing. And I remember when Elon Musk was put in the talks of creating Neuralink, he made a Twitter post, I believe, and me listening a while back going into it. And you had him pretty much say you'd be able to listen to music within your brain. I believe you had this one rapper saying you couldn't wait for it. And you're especially going to have many of these celebrities, these well-known people, especially done with Jake, are going to be used to push and promote this stuff. But pretty much you had Jake all over it. So they couldn't wait for it and be first in line, pretty much. So hey, you're gonna see people lining up, man, on blocks in, or on blocks. In fact, how to put that into words right there, but people lining up, going down blocks. That's the better way to put it. Cause you'll see, a new store will open, or a poppin' restaurant. You'll have a good line going all the way down the block, if not more. This is pretty much the point I'm trying to make. But it's really been his article, see what it has, and get the script at hand. Should be too long, just a quick update. Now, the Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has unveiled an ambitious plan to fit every American with a tracking device within the next 4 years. And I believe I went into something similar. I'm not sure if it's speaking of the same article or not, but may listen also go into that. But the Health Human Services Secretary revealed his intentions during a House hearing, stating that devices similar to the Apple Watch Fitbit, Whoop, and Oura Ring are key to the, agenda. And he believes that these technologies can empower individuals to enhance their health. So you see how they're going to be pushing this in the name of your security, safety, your well-being. Now, for example, going back to the year 2020, done with the juice. Now, you saw the mandates and restrictions that came with that. How you pretty much you couldn't really do anything without it. Especially even go to your job. So that was just an example, of what's to come. That was just the pop quiz. Imagine now when the test is in play. More in time from he believes that these technologies can empower individuals to enhance their health. As facilitating weight loss and encouraging regular exercise while promoting good judgments about their diets, their physical activity, and how they live their lives. So by the end of that point, push is the name of so-called safety, security, your well-being, your health. And you see how these people within Babylon the Great are. I remember let's go into this one dude, which shows an app where you could pre-buy things and you go to the store, you get what you need and walk pretty much straight out, not having to wait in line. And this one dude was like, he seen so much benefit in it. He was happy and glad that pretty much something like that was made. And you see how, at that point, how lazy these people are within Babylon the Great in America are. So they're going to see the convenience in these types of things, which that's also another point. But look at these scripts at hand. Pretty much got the point of the article. Go to the low. And that's Revelation 13:16-17, and it says, "And he called to both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in their foreheads." And when you go into that word mark in the Greek, goes into the word charagma, which then goes into the word scratch, etch, showing you that it's a physical mark. And also going back to that point, it says, or in their foreheads, you see Elon Musk, other companies, creating things like the Neuralink. Elon Musk creating the Neuralink. But once I made that point, you see other companies pretty much following in suit. They really have people taking things like that already. You see multiple videos where you have people paralyzed or unable to, speak, unable to move. They took that implant and look at the things that they're able to do. Once how many people be deceived and tempted and fall for these, or the deception that's getting ready to go out. So going back to that point, you had this one woman that was unable to speak. She was paralyzed, and I believe she took that mark in the forehead. Not sure if it was the Neuralink, if I'm correct, but it was something like that. But she was pretty much able to think of a sentence, and what she was wanting to say, popped up on the screen. I didn't know the person is able to move a mouse, with his brain. And when I say mouse, I'm speaking of the computer mouse. So he's able to move the cursor, with his brain. So you're going to have the devil be performing these miracles on the left-hand side, through this technology. So you're going to have many people be deceived. See the benefits in it. And especially look at us like we're the crazy ones for not wanting to take it, man. As you saw back in 2020, see how mad people got when you didn't have the concoction, the juice that you saw cooked up. You're selfish. You don't care about the people around you. Yada yada yada. But you saw how you needed to have that juice in order to go to your job, to travel. You need to have a green pass. They had what's the word I'm looking for? What is the word I'm looking for? Can't exactly remember the point. A checkpoint. They're holding checkpoints to show if you've are positive or not. If you had the 19. It's like I was trying to remember the exact point, but let's jump down to verse 17. I said, "And that no man might buy or sell, if he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, and they very soon you won't be able to buy nor sell without it." And really, you won't be able to live a so-called normal life without it. This is why you're going to have so many people be lining up to take this thing, man. They're going to be cracking on that pressure, especially dealing with these jakes, man. And a lot of these unfaithful Israelites are going to end up cracking under that pressure, especially. End up giving in. One more time from the top, that no man might buy or sell save he that the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So, very soon you're going to have this devil and begin to tighten that grip. A choice will have to be made, man, and only one of them is correct. Now, 2 Thessalonians 2:9, it says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. So you see, he works on the left-hand side, man. So there are major consequences to receiving that MOTB. The cons far outweigh the pros. Because people are going to see, I'm able to listen to music within my brain. I'm able to see holograms. I don't need to carry my laptop, my phone anymore. I don't need to carry my wallet. Because it's all going to be within you. So people are going to see the convenience in it, man. They're going to see no wrong. There's also this one other example where you're pretty much able to cheat in the game. You're pretty much hacking. So you see many people, especially, get on that. But even who's coming to the working of Satan with all power, signs, and lying wonders. Now, a few more scriptures, and that's the point. It's like I'm kind of rambling. This is Matthew 24:24. Now it says, for there shall rise false anointed and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders. And many people be deceived by those great signs and wonders. Like I made that point, you're going to have people lining up to take this thing, man. So go on for blocks. It's going to be the sight to see. It's especially going to be one of the biggest I told you so moments, man. But there shall rise false anointed and false prophets, shall show great signs and wonders, and so much that if were possible, they should deceive the very elect. But it's impossible to deceive the Lord's men. So we're also going to Revelation 3:10. Your Lord's going to keep his elect. In the midst of those coming times, especially from the temptation. Because like I made that point, you won't be able to live a so-called normal life without it. You may even have your own family pushing you to go out and take it. Your own woman pushing you to take it. These are the times that we're coming into, man. There's Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10. As if fear none of the things thou shalt suffer, behold, the devil shall cast you into prison that ye may be tried. And you see that concentration camp over there in Florida. I believe it's over there in Florida, where he's pretty much surrounded, by a bunch of alligators. And we've been saying these things, man. These FEMA camps. It's coming. And the fear of other things that I shall suffer, behold, the devil shall cast me into prison that ye may be tried. And you have people jailed, fined, for not taking the concoction, the juice back in 2020. And even wearing the mask. People were fined for that, jailed for that. So imagine when it comes to this MOTB, when it's mandated, when it's pushed out heavily. When you just do everything with it. These are times we're coming into, man. And you shall have tribulation 10 days, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So the Lord's gonna, keep us, man. If we endure, if we remain faithful, there is a reward at the end of that finish line, man. Revelation 3:10, for that's that point. And I believe I got one or two more scriptures. And I said, because thou hast kept Lord, my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. What's the hour of temptation ultimately going to be? When that MOTB is presented in front of us. And as which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So, hey, we're going to be tried. We're going to be tested. And that's why I made that point earlier. You're going to have many Israelites end up buckling on that pressure and giving in. Because like I made that point, a choice will have to be made. And you're going to have a lot of these Israelites, thinking they chose so-called life. In reality, they chose death by choosing to receive that charagma, that MOTB, which we're going to get in Revelation 14:9-10 after this. There's Isaiah chapter 10 verse 1, that says, woe unto them that decree and write his decrees, and that write grievous which they have prescribed, going to these draconian like laws. And when you go into that word draconian, it goes into harsh, strict, severe, going to show the severity of it. So just imagine when the devil's getting ready to crack down. You're holding checkpoints to If you want to travel, you need to show that you've taken that MOTB. So everything about you is going to be within it. Let's see the other scripture, and that brings the point. The Revelation 14 and 9 through 10. That's in the third ear to fall them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. So once you all see Elon Musk creating that Neuralink, other companies probably following in suit. Also the picture in his hand. You're seeing many steps that are being taken towards the implementation of this beast system. But you taking that charagma, that MOTB, that RFID, it goes to show that you are in agreement, with this beast system, that you're making Esau Edom your God. But you're not people say, you're looking into too deep, it's not that serious, I can just get it, take it out, do this. Always try and find loopholes and find things in order to excuse and justify their actions. And you're especially going to see that when people take this thing, man. Verse 10. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured without mixture of the cup of his indignation. He should be tormented with fire and brimstone, and the presence of the angels and the presence of the Lamb. And as they made that point, there are major consequences. The cons far outweigh the pros. This is, it should be tormented with fire and brimstone, but that fire and brimstone is going to be those thermonuclear missiles. And the presence of the angels and the presence of the Lamb representing your Lord Yahweh Shai. But you see, you'll be judged if you do take that MOTB. There's no other way around it. Whether you take it in your left hand, your right hand, I see right here it says, receive his mark in his forehead, see Elon Musk creating that Neuralink, you will be destroyed. Plainly put. What if I take it out my hand after I get it in it through? You just got if you're front row seats to thermal destruction is what you just got yourself. But as I made that point, they're gonna think they chose so-called life. In reality, they chose death. And those that choose so-called death by not receiving that MOTB, because as Revelation 2 and 10, how you're gonna have brothers be thrown to jail, these prisons. I mean, hey, be faced with that guillotine especially, man. But hey, they chose life. Because I've read a few other scripture, Revelation 3:10 especially, and you can get James 1:12, how the man that endureth temptation for when he's tried shall receive the crown of life. Revelation 3:10 one more time, just to close it out, just to bring that point home. Because I was kept with one of my patience, I also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Once the hour of temptation will be when that MOTB is present in front, but the Lord can give us the strength, the spirit that we need in order to endure these coming times and stand stiffly and boldly for Him. Like I said, I just want to make that point. I brought it up a few times. I had to listen already going to, like these Israelites out here going to think they chose so-called life. Actually, they chose death. And those that chose so-called death chose life. As you get throughout other scriptures, those brothers going to be raised up. They're going to come back first. You get another scripture. I want to say 1 Corinthians. I think that's 2 Thessalonians 4:9. Being joined together with them in the clouds. But just wanted to get that point right there. But that's not in the lesson. The point was made. I do close out and give all praise, all honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Shalom. See you next one. Lord's will.